Children are often the first to suffer from poverty, disasters, and climate change, yet their voices are the least heard. On today's episode, we take a closer look at how children's rights are being protected and strengthened here in the Philippines. Joining us is Ana Fatima Paras, Communications Officer of UNICEF Philippines, as she shares how UNICEF works with communities, youth leaders, and government partners to ensure that every child is seen, heard, and protected, especially the most at risk. I'm Rochelle Rubio, and this is The Advocates, Empowering Voices. Every child, no matter where they are born, has the right to survive, to learn, and to dream. Across more than 190 countries and territories, UNICEF works to make those rights a reality with a special focus on children who need help the most. But what exactly is UNICEF, and what does it do? What are the core advocacies that guide its work, especially here in the Philippines? On The Advocates, we speak with Ana Fatima Paras, Communications Officer of UNICEF Philippines, as she shares how the agency protects children's rights, strengthens communities, and tells the stories of Filipino children who deserve to be seen, heard, and protected.
UNICEF works for children. So that's really the heart of UNICEF. We are the organization mandated by the United Nations to protect and uphold the rights of every child. Dito sa Pilipinas, we've been here more than 75 years. We work across various sectors, health and nutrition, education, child protection, social protection, and even climate resilience. So through strong partnerships with the government, the civil society, private organizations, and even individuals. So we ensure na our children grow up, in a future where they can reach their full potential. So that is really the heart of our mission here.
The work of UNICEF is anchored on the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, adopted in 1989. It affirms that every child has the right to survive, develop, be protected from harm, and have a voice in matters that affect them, regardless of background or circumstance.
Yung Convention of the Rights of the Child, I wouldn't blame individuals if hindi nila maalala because it's so comprehensive. There are at least 54 articles, and then bawat article na yun may mga sub. So that really goes to show how comprehensive and thorough it is. But I think we can start with the guiding principles. No? There are 4. The first one being non-discrimination. So, bawat bata, regardless sa race niya, sa gender, sa language, sa religion, sa background ng parents niya, or sa socio-economic status, they all deserve fair treatment. So, we do not discriminate. Tapos, pangalawa, best interests of the child. So, in every decision, in every policy, sa bawat batas, all decisions affecting children, dapat inaalala natin yung kanilang well-being, yung safety nila, yung development nila, at saka rights nila. So, that is always our primary consideration. Ang pangatlo, right to life, survival, and development. I would think these are what the listeners may find parang most tangible, parang right to health, nutrition. So this is where you see UNICEF programs in action or yung parang pinakamadaling makita. And then higit sa lahat, right to be heard. So children have the right to express their views freely on all matters that affect them. And those views should be given due weight according to their age and maturity. What that means is, syempre, when they express their views, parang i-guide mo din sila according sa age and maturity nila para, ma-express nila ng maayos.
UNICEF Philippines advances these rights by strengthening the capacity of families, educators, and local leaders while working closely with government to help shape child-focused policies and laws. Through advocacy, research, and community programs, UNICEF Philippines helps turn children's rights into real protection and opportunity.
How our work upholds those rights is, unang-una, we do system-level work with the government. So, we help improve or craft laws that uphold those rights, policies tsaka budgets. We support or we supplement them. We provide technical assistance, financial assistance, like people in the government or like in the communities. They're what we call yung duty bearers. They uphold the rights of the children. Tinutulungan natin sila na gawin yon by training or capacity building. If you go with us in the trenches, you will see that's a lot of the work that we do. Yung empowering children. Parang nakakatuwa din talaga to see you help children express themselves and help them make informed decisions.
Through lasting high-impact programs nationwide, UNICEF Philippines ensures that children are not overlooked, giving them voice, care, and critical support all year round. One such initiative is the Bangsamoro Social Protection Plan.
We don't do seasonal projects kasi we want as much as possible na whether Pasko or hindi, yung mga kabataan ay masaya, healthy, and then sustainable yung future nila. One of the, I think, highlights ng where it really shows yung systems level work ng UNICEF is through the Bangsamoro Social Protection Plan. It spans 4 years, 2024 hanggang 2028, with the aim of reducing poverty incidents sa Bangsamoro region. So, kasi parang although nag-i-improve na yung poverty incidents sa region, parang kalahati pa din ay living in poverty yung mga kabataan. So, through this plan na we are parang we developed and are parang closely parang supporting yung Ministry of Social Services and Development ng Bangsamoro, tinutulungan natin yung mga families magka-social safety nets, whether in kind or in like cash, para hindi sila mag-resort sa harmful coping mechanisms such as parang marrying of children early or mga child labor. UNICEF kasi is funded by voluntary contributions, whether government, partner governments or like corporations or like private individuals, doon nabubuhay yung work namin. We have a dynamic fundraising team that thinks of meaningful and creative ways para mag-raise ng funds.
Fueled by voluntary donations, UNICEF Philippines runs fundraising initiatives that support its operations and programs for children and families in need.
Isa dito are our limited edition Christmas cards. For every purchase ng Christmas cards, yung pondo nun napupunta sa mga programa ng UNICEF, sa health and nutrition, education, and even work in emergencies, sa madaming bagay po. This year, we partnered with children's illustrator group called Ang Ilustrador ng Kabataan or Ang Inc. So, sa cards na to, makikita mo yung mga fondest childhood memories natin. Like, if you, lumaki po ba kayo na nagsistring ng mga santan together to make mga necklace or mga corona? Okay, ayan, pinipaint nila yon. Tapos mga children feasting with their family. Parang Noche Buena, parang may, Christmas effect. So, what we want to communicate with these cards is yung hope or yung future na na-envision natin para sa kanila, yung childhood. Our fundraising efforts have already vaccinated 1.1 million children in BARM. Nakapagbigay tayo ng nutrition services to more than 80,000 women. So, it's not just a mere purchase of Christmas cards. Ang dami pong natutulungan nito.
What major long-term programs have made the greatest impact on vulnerable children in the Philippines? Ana Fatima Paraz points to UNICEF Philippines' advocacy and technical support for the passage of the first 1,000 days into law in 2018. The first 1,000 days covers the period from pregnancy until a child's second birthday, a crucial window for physical growth and brain development. Nutrition and proper care during this stage have lasting effects on a child's health, learning, and overall well-being, making it a critical focus of UNICEF's work.
I have one that comes to mind na even precedes my work here in UNICEF. It's called the First 1,000 Days. Naging batas siya noong 2018. So, UNICEF heavily supported talaga this pagsulong ng batas na to. Kasi yung first 1,000 days na nagsistart simula ng conception sa sinapupunan ng nanay and shortly before they turn two. Ang importante kasi nung tinatawag natin critical period ng development kasi this is when nagde-develop yung brains nila and we really have to protect that period, ensure na children are healthy and higit sa lahat kumakain ng masustansyang pagkain kasi link din 'to hindi lang sa kalusugan, pati sa foundational learning. So actually yung reading comprehension ng bata, hindi yan nagsisimula sa pagpatong nila ng elementary. Sa foundational talaga yan, learning yan. And syempre, yung mga kabataan, they cannot learn if they are not fed, if they are not healthy, if their brains are not nourished by nutritious food. So, napaka-importante talagang pagtuunan niya ng pansin.
Kalusugan at Nutrisyon ng Magnanay Act, or First 1,000 Days Law, provides an integrated, multi-sectoral framework to strengthen health and nutrition interventions for pregnant and lactating women, infants, and young children during the first 1,000 days of life.
To this day, kahit na naipasa na yung batas na yan, sinusupport pa din talaga namin heavily yung work ng Department of Health, ng National Nutrition Council, ng Department of Social Welfare and Development, and even local governments para coordinated yung delivery ng services para sa mga expectant mothers and like those with children under 2 years old. Early this year, yung DSWD, they rolled out yung first 1,000 days na 4Ps. So parang talagang for mothers, expectant mothers and families with children sa age range na yon para makapag-avail sila ng extra nutrition and health services. So if you can see, enduring siya na work. And that's what I really parang think na isa sa mga pinaka-impactful na nagawa ng UNICEF dito sa Pilipinas. Realistically, yung effect sa period na yon, pag alam mo yung pag hindi naagapan, medyo irreversible na kasi siya. So, we really have to concentrate on that period.
What other initiatives does UNICEF Philippines undertake to advance children's rights and welfare?
We do not implement directly. Parang talaga, pag system levels, kailangan the system itself, which I mean the government kasi is the heart. Sila talaga yung like the unang takbuhan ng mga tao, no. So we parang yung sinasabi ko pong capacity building, it's also to capacitate yung mga health workers para mas may ma-reach pa sila na mga even sa remote areas. So I mean across even beyond 1,000 days, parang during mga health caravans or yung mga campaigns, support for these health workers can range from yung capacity building or parang in cases where needed, parang binibigyan namin sila ng extra resources like in the form of mga transportation pag kailangan para mas maabot nila yung mga yung mga GIDA, yung mga malalayong lugar, yung mga mahirap abutin. It comes in different forms and syempre parang depende sa need ng barangay, municipality. The kind of work and the details of it are really dependent on yung mga pinag-uusapan ng partnership. So if children are the heart of our work, partnership is like the blood na bumubuhay sa trabaho namin na yon.
Climate change continues to take a heavy toll on children around the world. In the Philippines, one of the most disaster-prone countries, young lives are often the most affected. We ask how UNICEF Philippines is helping children and communities cope with the impacts of the climate crisis, and what programs are in place to protect them before, during, and after disasters.
Just to set yung context, yes, it is a very, by now, most of us know yung effect talaga ng climate change. But like just a personal story, no, I was in Bogo, San Remigio, and Daan Bantayan sa Cebu, na hindi lang naapektuhan ng earthquake, pati din ng Tino. So, yung mga nakausap kong bata doon and their families, parang naka-experience sila sa onset nilagnat yung mga bata. So, yung mga climate-related events, they expose children to like a host of health issues. And parang what really struck me there also is yung profound mental health impact. So, may isang bata doon na according sa nanay niya, um, naman masayahin, mahilig maglaro sa labas. Tapos nung nag-earthquake na, dahil sa lakas ng earthquake, konting yanig, konting kalabog, nagpapanik na yung bata. So ayaw na niya maglaro sa labas. Dahil nga massive din yung effect ng earthquake. Just when they were starting to recover, no? Parang nasa tents pa din kasi sila nakatira nung time na yon because they were still trying to recover. Tumama naman si Tino. So, dahil sa lakas ng hangin, they were forced to like seek shelter in homes na hindi pa fully repaired and safe kasi ang lakas ng hangin. So, you can just imagine parang the impact of that sa bata. Learning losses, on average, parang our children in the Philippines miss mga 30 days o a year of school days dahil sa interruptions. Tsaka child protection issues like dahil nga yung mga emergencies they put them at risk of separating children from their families. So na-expose sa risk ng violence and even child labor. So sa UNICEF, we adopt like parang a multi-pronged approach. So yung urgent life-saving support, we deliver that to communities where it's needed the most during emergencies. Just recently, nag-cash distribution po kami for like at least 5,000 families affected ng Super Typhoon Uwan sa Catanduanes. Kasi po, isa sa mga lumabas sa assessment is parang the markets were open pero parang kailangan ng pamili. And iba-iba kasi yung needs ng bawat pamilya eh. So, yung pamilya, like si pamilya A, baka gamot or pagkain kailangan ng bata. Tapos yung isang pamilya naman kailangan ng pang-ayos ng bahay. So, through a cash first approach, parang in a way children first din siya. Kasi unique nga yung pangangailangan ng bawat bata. And by, parang empowering them with like much needed cash, dignified din yung recovery nila kasi they are charting their own recovery as they see fit.
UNICEF tailors its programs and donations to the actual needs of the communities it serves, providing urgent, life-saving support such as clean and safe water, essential medicines, vital micronutrients, and climate sanitation facilities.
We supply mga health nutrition supplies. So doon sa health kits, ang nilalaman nun iba-iba. kids need vitamins and mga fever meds, ganyan. Kasi ang daming na-expose sa yung mga nilalamig, madaming nilalagnat, inuubo. So, meron nun. And then, even for, pag kailangan ng municipality, for example, anxiety meds, meron din nun. So, it depends on what the community needs. So, that water supplies, kasi malaki yung risk of mga waterborne diseases like diarrhea, wala ding potable water. So that's one of the most mga common supplies na nire-request at dinidistribute din ng UNICEF. This was distributed sa Cebu and even sa Davao Oriental. Through the years, nagbibigay talaga ng urgent life-saving support si UNICEF. We support DepEd in parang integrating climate resilience talaga sa curriculum. Sa area naman ng water, sanitation, and hygiene, for example, sa regions na vulnerable like Caraga and yung sa Samar province, we help build climate sanitation facilities para kung nag-aano yung hagupit ng bagyo, parang meron pa din silang toilet, durable na pwede nilang gamitin. And water to maintain hygiene even in like times of emergency. So that's just an example of the things now we work on, like in various social services. So meron din po sa health and sa child protection.
In all its efforts, UNICEF places the welfare of children at the center. This includes climate-focused initiatives that help children and communities prepare for disasters, adapt to climate risks, and recover from emergencies, ensuring that even in a changing climate, children are protected, resilient, and not left behind.
Another component is we just launched yung climate landscape analysis for children. So, alam natin lahat yung effects ng climate change. Pero sa study na to, pinalitaw talaga namin together with DENR yung sa bata talaga mismo. So, one is yung sa education, yung number of school days missed. And then by 2050 nga, parang children will have parang experienced at least mga like a great number of heat waves. So heightened yung risk. Aside from raising those like children-specific issues, when people read the report, makikita naman nila na meron naman ng ginagawa yung ating government and ang ating partners in climate change. But we are parang the recommendations there are parang strategic na parang strategic approach to maximize yung ongoing efforts para coordinated po yung efforts natin. And higit sa lahat, true to the to the goal of UNICEF na lahat ay child-centered. Bata po, kapakanan ng bata ang nangingibabaw.
UNICEF Philippines advances youth-led climate action by amplifying young voices in policy discussions and promoting child-centered climate solutions.
Finally po, mga kabataan, they're not just affected by climate change. They can also be agents of change themselves. We support mga youth groups on climate action para pulong-pulong sila. They can reach government officials from mga CCCD and we give them a platform to be in the same table as those decision makers, and we help them craft mga declaration na talagang that will really make a difference in making climate policies more child-friendly.
Aligned with youth-focused climate action, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources Klimalikasan program provides a national platform for climate and disaster resilience initiatives. Through it, the Kabataang Resilient Awards recognize young leaders and groups whose projects help communities adapt to climate risks. These efforts echo the work of UNICEF Philippines, which continues to amplify youth voices and support child-responsive climate policies.
Si Klimalikasan, it's not really ours. Sa DENR talaga siya. With our work, parang nadagdagan siya ng youth component. So, yung Kabataang Resilient Awards, galing siya sa existing UNICEF-supported movement na Kabataang Resilient. So, network to ng mga youth climate actors, yung mga on climate action. Yung mga kwentong Klimalikasan, this is actually an initiative of the ENR. So, this is their way of recognizing the work of climate actors in the Philippines. So this year, through our joint initiative with them, bukod doon sa report that I mentioned on the landscape analysis, nagdagdag ng youth component sa Klimalikasan Awards, and we call it Kabataang Resilient Awards. And Kabataang Resilient is actually a UNICEF-supported movement ng mga Filipino youth to lead climate action tsaka disaster resilience. Yung mga awardees dito na parang evaluated din ng members of Kabataang Resilient themselves, you'll be parang pleasantly, it's really proof na yung mga kabataan are, really onto something. Kasi yung mga awardees dito, parang very specific yung kanilang climate action. So, meron kang faith-based climate action, may community-centered disaster resilience. Meron ding iba na they use creative and like the arts for creative outreach to more to reach more people on like climate action messages. And then there's even mangrove rehabilitation at saka community-based hazard mapping. So talaga, ang gagaling talaga ng mga kabataan ngayon. Their voices should never be discounted. So talagang goal namin ng UNICEF and with thanks also to DENR for providing us a springboard to do this is to elevate these youth-led initiatives para aside from supporting the existing tsaka potentially scaling it up, para mas marami pang hindi nare-recognize na mga kabataan but are worthy, ay maengganyo din and ma-inspire.
Ms. Anna shares that children are among the most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, and their voice must be heard, grounded in real, lived experiences.
This is yung youth empowerment, yung youth engagement namin is really a key component in addressing climate crisis for us, itong climate change. Kasi nga dahil sila yung nagbe-bear ng brunt ng consequences, sila yung pinaka-affected, sila din yung solid inputs, like very substantial inputs, because these are parang experiences these are lived experiences of children. The youth voice matters talaga. Itong Kabataang Resilience Awards, we want to encourage more of them to take up space and pitch in sa climate action.
From the Bangsamoro Children's Congress to the Bangsamoro Children's Manifesto, powerful stories emerged from children who spoke from lived experiences. We look at how UNICEF Philippines helps amplify these voices and translate their concerns into concrete action.
Ginanap to nung Children's Month. We brought mga more than 25 children na nasa edad ng 10 to 15. So doon, para 3-day congress siya ng mga youth on key issues and challenges sa community nila. What makes this special is parang di lang siya basta-basta para pulong-pulong lang na nagsabi sila ng mga nila. Ni-workshop talaga siya. Like there was an actual facilitator nung 3 days na yon para yung discussions ay inclusive, participatory, tsaka thoughtful. And kasi, that's very important. Kasi towards the end ay nilagay nila sa what we call yung Children's Manifesto. Yung yung mga na-process nila na challenges and yung mga yung sa tingin nila yung magiging solution. So, maayos siya sa pagkakalatag and we are positive and hopeful na this key document will be used as a resource in making policies na mas inclusive tsaka responsive to children's needs. Ramdam nila yung the days that they miss in school to the homes nila na nasisira. So it leaves them really parang vulnerable. Siyempre meron din kasi doon sa region, no? Like you have island regions, island provinces na mas lalong vulnerable naman sa yung mga climate related events. So, if you go through the Children's Manifesto, paka-specific talaga ng hinihingi. Dapat yung mga barangay, bawat barangay, merong accessible and structurally sound na evacuation centers. So talaga sila, children know what they want and like they know what's needed. Tapos yung isa din is child marriage. It's a very sensitive topic. And parang, but regardless, they were very brave, no, to bring it up. Kasi they know na what we call yung child, early enforced marriage and unions or SEFMU. Parang it's used as a parang way din for some families to escape poverty. Of course, meron din siyang cultural and religious considerations. Kaya nga siya sensitive and sensitive na topic. But what we do know is meron ng mga batang nagsasalita saying na, it stands in the way of their future kasi gusto din nila meron silang say on how they, what they want to chart their life. I-uphold yung right nila na piliin kung ano yung gusto nila sa future.
In protecting children's rights, UNICEF works closely with government agencies, particularly in responding to abuse and expanding access to education, safe spaces, and opportunities for play. Ana Fatima Paras highlights initiatives such as Safer Kids PH and the Department of Education's Alternative Learning System, among others.
Partnerships is really it's really important in the work that we do. No, so and of course system strengthening. So it's a core work ng UNICEF. So for in the case of child protection, this year nag-conclude kami ng program. It's called Safer Kids PH, supported by the Australian government. Tsaka in-implement namin with the Asia Foundation and Save the Children. So isa sa mga key work doon is yung support talaga in passing the anti-child sexual abuse or exploitation or yes, or we call it OSAEC. So, parang naipasang batas. And this is really important because online sexual abuse and exploitation, it's an invisible crime. That's how they describe it. Kasi, hindi mo alam it infiltrates your private spaces eh. So, mahirap siyang i-detect, mahirap siyang i-track, and parang before that law, challenge din yung pag-ano sa kanya. Parang pinalay sa kanya. So, parang we provided technical support in the development din ng mga ganitong batas. And part of system strengthening in the area of child protection is also capacitating din yung mga law enforcers tsaka mga community members to handle these sensitive cases. So, mahirap din kasi to i-report na problem for various reasons. Nahihiya yung family, nahihiya yung bata, or simply hindi din nila alam, or yung mga nag-handle dapat mismo hindi equipped to parang to navigate this without maybe awakening a trauma or something. Sa education, we have parang what we call the alternative learning system. Kasi say in Bangsamoro, parang madami pa ding hindi enrolled sa formal education system. So, yung ALS, it's actually not our program. It's the DepEd's. So, parang yung mga nag enroll dito ay yung mga, yun na, labas sa formal education. Yung iba, they come from different circumstances. So, dahil dito, isa sa mga support na binibigay ng UNICEF to DepEd is yung pagte-train ng mga ALS educators kasi unique din talaga bawat circumstance ng mga students na pumapasok. So, that requires a different skill set. At saka, syempre, increasing yung enrollment ng mga gustong mag-ALS.
She closes with a personal message, underscoring why protecting children's welfare must remain a shared responsibility.
Sa coming from a communications professional standpoint and parang listening to stories of children na ang dami nilang mga pangarap sa buhay but madami din sa kanila don't have the resources to reach them. So I think this is where our work begins. This is where investment begins. So parang investing in children is actually, it's nation building with like the most certain return. Kasi a third of our population ay kabataan, mga youth yan. Sila din yung papatakbo ng mga ng maybe government or magmamana ng mga enterprises or sila yung they will soon replace us. So we must equip them to inherit a world, and parang we should also make this a world naman na they would like to inherit. So investment in children can range from as simple as no, let's start with yung UNICEF work talaga, no? So, that means yung, parang beefing up like yung support sa first 1,000 days program, strengthening the primary health care para may natatakbuhan yung families, yung mga kabataan sa tuwing may sakit. And yung climate resilient services, syempre para kahit na may mga climate related emergencies ay tuloy-tuloy pa din yung mga essential services na kailangan ng mga kabataan. In our simplest ways, if you see a material that affects children or like speaks about their rights, like by hitting a share button, spreading the word, like if you want to help children also, you can purchase our Christmas cards. So na rest assured ay mapupunta talaga sa mga children and their families who need it the most. So ayun, I guess I want to say na like when we invest in children in our own ways sa ating makakaya, we don't just invest in like a single moment or a single season. It's investing in a future talaga. So these are really investment in with long-term prospects. Kaya talaga investing in children is like is like one of the best decisions we can ever make.
Today's conversation reminds us that protecting children's rights goes beyond policies and programs. It begins with listening to children and acting on their realities. From nutrition and education to climate resilience and child protection, UNICEF Philippines continues to work alongside communities and institutions to turn children's rights into real opportunities. Our thanks to Ana Fatima Paraz of UNICEF Philippines for sharing her insights in UNICEF's advocacy. This has been Rochelle Rubio. Join me again next Friday on another episode of The Advocates, Empowering Voices, right here on 104.3 The Capital.
This is where the voices of the voiceless are heard. The Advocates, Empowering Voices, hosted by Rochelle Rubio on 104.3 The Capital.